Okay, kids, Ham and Cheese back here with you again today. Yeah, I know it's been a minute, but if you've been following the page, you know that old Ham and Cheese wasn't feeling too well. But we're better now, and we're back in the shack and ready to rock and roll once again. And for today's build, we're going to be building the Frankencable. And the purpose of this build is to be able to connect to our 132-foot end-fed half-wave to improve AM and shortwave reception of this guy right here, our Eton Elite Executive shortwave radio. This features a 30-inch or so telescopic antenna out of the stock unit, and it's not a very good one for that purpose. So we're going to hopefully make this build work and show it off. And with that, let's go ahead and get into today's build. Okay, so here we have our wire stripped back now. This, of course, being the coax, this being our 3.5 millimeter cable. So for the purpose of this, even though we have 3 strands of wire here inside the 3.5 millimeter, we're only going to use 2. We're going to use the red and the white. The ground will not be necessary for this. And then what we'll do is we'll connect the center pin in the shielding for the coax as well. So let's go ahead and get that in. And what we're going to do to help strengthen these wires is we're going to tin these up first. And then, of course, we'll tin up the coax as well. So let's go ahead and show that part next here. All right, kids, before we get into today's soldering portion of this, let's talk about the cheap and easy pro tip of the day. What you see in front of you here is this is how Ham and Cheese keeps his soldering tips cleaned. So what this is the material that they sell to replace your cleaning Brillo pad, whatever you want to call it. And you can get these cheap. You can get these in a bag for, I think I got 3 of them for $5 or something like that. But then what I do is I take an old tuna can, as you can see right there, drop it in. Now you got a tip cleaner. You don't have to worry about the tuna can overheating or anything. You've got a good spot there. You can take it, put it in, move it around, do what you need to do. And as you can see, cleans that tip right up. And that's ready to be tinned now. You can see right there, nice and clean. So that's your cheap and easy pro tip of the day. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to solder here. So we're going to bring in our wires here. And what we're going to do is we're going to tin these. Like I said, we're going to talk about the red and the white. We're not going to use the ground for this. We don't need the ground for this, okay? But we're going to use the red and the white to solder up, and we're going to tin that first, and then we'll come back to it. All right, so we got our wires back on the bench ready to go there, and as you can see, they're very, very thin wires. So we're going to try to tin them up here and see if we can make this thing go. So let's first see if we're hot enough, and we are. Let's go ahead and get our iron tinned up here a little bit. And we got 1 tinned. And we've got the second one tinned up for the most part now. All right, let's go ahead and get these wires put together. All right, kids, so let's give this a shot here, and I'll tell you right now, old Ham and Cheese ain't the best at soldering, but we're going to give it our best shot. There's a lot of material there to heat up on that braid, that's for sure. All right, so not working so great. Let's go over to the center pin connector and see what we can do here. All right, so there we are. About as best as old ham and cheese is gonna get her. Let's see if we have a solid connection here. All right, so now we've got it all pinned together. Let's go ahead and test this for continuity and see what we get. So we're gonna test out the center lead first. And no problem there. No short, so that's good. Let's go ahead and move to the center ring. Again, solid. And no short. All right, let's go ahead and button this up now with the heat shrink and see how it performs. All right, kids, so here's our final result. We're gonna go ahead and test it now for continuity and make sure everything still works correctly. And it does. No short. Move up to the secondary, and no short. All right, so what we did was, we took, after we put everything together, we brought it all together with some heat shrink, and now we have a cable that goes 3.5 millimeter to a PL259 plug. All right, let's test it out and see how it works. Okay, kids, for this last part today, we're going to go ahead and test out Frankencable now. And we have it tied to our 132-foot end fed, which is right outside the shack window here. And we're first going to listen in. This is a local station, 1450 AM here in the medium wave. As you can see, it's putting up about 3 S units. Let's give it a listen. Not really hearing much there. Let's go ahead and plug in our Frankencable. And with that, we do have improved reception. Comes up about 2 S units. Let's go ahead and switch over to the ham bands here. We're going to go into 40 meters next. And we're going to go to 7200, which is the dumping grounds. And we'll give it a listen on lower sideband. So right now we have about an S5 reflection.
He's been labeled as delusional by a psychiatric examination.
And we can hear that nonsense that goes on at 7200. And if we disconnect, they're still in there, but much weaker. So with that, Frankencable is a success. Our intended purpose for it was to be able to tie into our end-fed half wave, which we've now been able to do successfully. And as a result, we get improved reception on the Elite Executive here. So with that, there it is. We made it out of spare parts. The whole thing took roughly about 20 minutes to build till we stripped it back and all that good stuff. Let the soldering iron heat up, so on and so forth, and make a go of it. And sure, we could have bought an adapter that did the same thing for $8 or $10, but you know me, I'm cheap and easy. And I also like to homebrew and roll my own, and we did exactly just that. So there you have it, the Frankencable working, and working very well. All right, kids, thanks for watching. 7-3.